Talking Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
By Vortex Optics with the VIP warranty. Their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com. And by Hog Island Audubon Camp. For full camp schedule, program details, and to register, visit hogisland.audubon.org.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, and welcome to our show number 1044, which will feature news about another forthcoming fabulous festival celebrating birds and nature. Plus, Mike O'Connor with Let's Ask Mike Live, and the Week 5 winner in our Make Your Own Swag contest. Meanwhile, here's an audio postcard from near an area that will soon be hosting that fabulous birding and nature festival.
Morning, Ray. This is Marcia O'Bara in the Chiricahua Mountains near Portal, Arizona, on the South Fork Road, listening to a lonely trogon calling for a mate that probably will never come. Our trogon numbers are way down, and so I'm so lucky to be standing here listening to this lonely trogon. Bye now.
Thank you, Marcia. Postcards welcome here. Just record your description of what you're seeing or hearing and email the file to ray@talkingbirds.com. That's ray@talkingbirds.com. Now, about that festival, it's the Southwest Wings Birding and Nature Festival, July 30th through August 2nd in beautiful and birdy Sierra Vista, Southeast Arizona. As we learned last week, the time period encompassing the end of July and the beginning of August is a perfect time to visit the magical birding world of Southeast Arizona. That's because that time period is right smack in the middle of monsoon season, which brings rain that grows the plants and flowers and provides more food and resources for birds and brings more birds, trogons included. So excellent timing for the Southwest Wings Birding and Nature Festival, which, by the way, offers all kinds of free events and activities, including free bird walks and free bird talks and free programs for kids and free nature expo admission. There are fee-based field trips, and there'll be a keynote dinner with the famed British author, TV producer, and naturalist Stephen Moss as keynote speaker, along with more than a dozen other presenters, including the great Rick Wright, who I would suggest is one of a handful of living legend birders. And if you go, which we highly recommend, look for our Talkin' Birds table, hosted by the great Lori Lamb. Registration is open now and through July 15th. It's the Southwest Wings Birding and Nature Festival beginning on July 30th. Here's the website for all the details, swwings.org. That's SW as in Southwest, swwings.org. And now here's our Week 5 Make Your Own Swag contest winner. It's Josh Denton from Indian Trail, North Carolina. Way to go, Josh. Josh sent us a cool photo showing him out birding and wearing a neat wristband with a Talkin' Birds patch attached. Josh wins a very special Broom Squirrel Buster Plus bird feeder, and he's eligible for the Vortex Spotting Scope Grand Prize, as is everyone who sent in a photo, and we'll announce the grand prize winner on next week's show. What we have there is our mystery bird. Preview of our mystery bird contest. Here's a little bit about that bird. It's a small songbird with lightly streaked brown upper parts, a black and white triangular patch on the upper back, a dull white chest and belly, and pale brown flanks. It feeds on insects gleaned from vegetation, including cattails. And its tail, which is often held up vertically above its back, looks a bit like a cattail. It's found throughout much of North America, wintering in the southern states and breeding across the northern half of the U.S. and the western provinces of Canada. We have some beautiful prizes here, as usual, in our Mystery Bird Contest. And if you missed out on that Brome bird feeder in our Make Your Own Swag competition, not to worry. We have another fabulous feeder here in our Mystery Bird Contest. It's the Brome Mega 600 feeder. Yes, with an extra large tube that holds nearly 2.5 pounds of seed. Easy to clean, chew-proof, and it includes the Brome seed ventilation system to keep the seed cool and dry. Another prize, a 1-year subscription to the great new birding magazine BWD, founded in 1978 as Birdwatchers Digest. Kind of legendary there. Back now and better than ever. Fabulous photos, illustrations, and in-depth articles by renowned experts, including the great Julie Zickafoos and many others. So, prizes there in the Mystery Bird Contest coming along a little bit later on in the show. Just kind of want you to get ready for that. Here comes another salute to a member of the Talking Birds audience royalty. That's right, our Talking Birds ambassadors. Deb Hall from Fresno, California, is a lover of owls and bird song, and she is a Talking Birds ambassador, helping us get the word out about our show and about birds and conservation. Thank you, Deb. Talking Birds listeners, please consider doing what Deb has done and join our ambassadors family. Just go to talkingbirds.com and click on the Get Involved tab at the top of the page to see how easy it is to do it. Still to come today, we'll revisit a favorite interview from back in December with a guest from the Canadian province of Alberta, Ariane Inman, about how she provides folks with some amazing birding experiences while highlighting the indigenous culture of the area. We'll also hear from Mike O'Connor, who will join us on the topic of an unusual predator. And up next, for those of us who find the ubiquitous rock pigeon a little too plain, we offer for your consideration a featured feathered friend from the other side of the Atlantic. It should perhaps be made clear that today's featured feathered friend is not made of wood, despite its name, because we endeavor to feature only real birds here. Our bird is Columba polumbus, the common wood pigeon. We can credit a story by science and travel writer Ben Crair that appeared in the New York Times this week as our inspiration to highlight the species as a rare European entry into our featured feathered friend portfolio. Mr. Crair reported that when he moved to Berlin from New York some years ago, he noticed that the pigeons there in Berlin, with their white neck patches, soft pink chests, and candy corn-colored beaks, seemed, as he put it, prettier than the ones he knew in Manhattan. The common wood pigeon also displays shades of pale purple and gray, and they're easily recognized in flight by their broad white wing bands. Common wood pigeons have been very successful in recent years in Europe, nesting in urban parks, woodlots, and open fields. Millions of them cross the Pyrenees mountain range in migration, and they form huge roosting flocks in winter. The Cornell Lab of Ornithology reports that some common wood pigeons take risks by nesting close to a falcon species, the European hobby. But apparently the risk is worth it, since the hobby's aggressive pushback against intruders provides a measure of protection for the pigeons. Of course, the more widely known rock pigeon, like those seen in Manhattan and thousands of other places around the world, also deserves respect. You can hear why if you check out Talkin' Birds show number 896, when Rosemary Moscow told us about her pocket guide to pigeon watching. But our featured feathered friend today is worth paying attention to if you're in a European city or planning to visit one. It's Columba polumbus, the prettier than its relatives, common wood pigeon. met Ariane Inman when she signed up as an ambassador for our show. We then learned she leads bird walks in Alberta, Canada, where she lives through her sustainable birding tour company called Bird Dreams that combines indigenous cultural experiences with birding in Alberta's unique ecosystems. And she's here with us from Sherwood Park, Alberta, Canada, to tell us more about all that. Good morning, Ariane.
Tanshi Ray.
So, Ariane, tell us a bit more about those walks, if you would, and how you weave those cultural experiences into the birding activity, and maybe a bit about the Métis culture of which you are a part.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ray. Yeah. So our company, it has evolved a little bit. Started out wanting to share some Indigenous cultures here in Alberta. Myself, I am Métis, and we are our own distinct people that we are a mixture of European settlers and Anishinaabe, Cree. I have been lucky the last few years to start learning my ancestral language of Michif, so I share some of that in our birding events. And we take people mainly into the Edmonton River Valley to a place called White Mud Park and teach beginner birding. And I love doing that. I love to share a way for people to connect more to nature in the place that they live. And my hope is not only that they really enjoy themselves and spend more time birding, but also that they then hopefully become more attached to these places and, volunteer with local conservation groups, do habitat stewardship and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I like to share is in the Michif language, there's some fun bird words. And also in Michif, the word for respect is miutito, which means to see. So doing that outside in nature and looking at the birds is a really good experience.
Indeed. We talked before the show, Ariane, about the connection between biodiversity and the long history of Indigenous peoples. I wonder if you could expand a bit on how you see that relationship.
Sure. Yeah, I noticed that, Ray, in places in Alberta, which we're very lucky to have lots of national parks and UNESCO World Heritage sites, and in these places where there's a long history of human habitation, there's also a lot of bird biodiversity. Like, for example, in Head Smashed in Buffalo Jump, there's a little birding trail down by I call it a birding trail. It's a trail down by the Buffalo Jump, and there's so many different birds there to see. And it's very interesting when you look at the patterns of human migration and bird migration, and they all overlap. We have a close relationship with birds as human beings, and I like pointing that out to people.
So interesting. And I know you're always on the lookout for boreal chickadees. What are some of the other target species on your walks?
I think the boreal chickadee, that's one that we're always looking for. Mm-hmm. We see in the river valley, we see bald eagles, we see common mergansers in White Mud Creek. We're always looking for warblers in the springtime, yellow warblers. We get orange crown warblers, all kinds of warblers in the springtime. That's my favorite. And a lot of woodpeckers in White Mud Park. Mm-hmm. It's an old growth forest, and that's a really cool thing to help people pay attention to, is the interrelationship of the birds and the forest, especially the year-round birds.
And you mentioned warblers, and this is a gigantic area, is it not, for warbler breeding?
Well, right where we are here, we're at the southern edge of the boreal forest. So this is the largest remaining forest on Earth. And interesting fact is, like, 53% of the warblers that breed in North America, they breed in the boreal forest. Mm-hmm. So we're just right on the flight path here, and we get to see them all on their way. And there's a lot that breed here too.
Just amazing. And by the way, just to mention about the national parks. They're so famous and so long established and so large. Wood buffalo, for example, I figured this out with my little calculator that it's about 1/3 again bigger than our home state of Massachusetts. Just some amazing national parks there. That is such a huge area. Of course, Alberta. In general, and you have done walks there as well, right? In the national parks.
We did do a walk a few years ago in Jasper, and that's a really fun area for birding. Harlequin ducks, which I have not found yet. Barrow's goldeneye, loons, again, warblers in the springtime, violet-green tree swallows, and very close to us here, about maybe half an hour, 20 minutes from Sherwood Park, is we're lucky to have Elk Island National Park, where there are plains and wood bison, and we're hoping to do a bird walk there in the springtime.
Wonderful. We've been talking with Ariane Inman, and you can find out more about her wonderful birding and cultural excursion experiences. And correct me if I get any of this wrong, Ariane, but on Facebook, it's Bird Dreams, as one word, and at Bird Dreams on Instagram. That sound about right? The best way for folks to follow you?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much, Ray. And I love sharing to all of our birding participants about talking birds.
Well, thank you for that. And I'll attempt to say thank you in Michif, Ariane, Marcy, and happy birding.
Marcy, Ray.
Ariane Inman here on Talking Birds. Again, Bird Dreams is her wonderful company. Coming up next here, it's our Mystery Bird Contest in just 1 minute.
The flutter of a tail feather, the flash of a wing bar in mid-flight. You don't always have a lot of time to identify a bird in nature, let alone to appreciate its beauty. But with Vortex Optics, you'll have the power to bring every wild moment closer. When you choose Vortex, you're choosing to have a partner in the field as passionate about nature as you are. Whether you're spotting old friends on the backyard feeder or packing for a once-in-a-lifetime trip to add a few species to your life list, Vortex offers a full range of optics and optics accessories for every birder and every budget. And whether the birds are taking you to another state or another country, you're always covered by the Vortex VIP warranty, an unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. If you'd like to learn more, or if you need help choosing your next optic, give Vortex a call at 1-800-4-VORTEX or visit vortexoptics.com.
There's that mystery bird again. And this is the actual contest. No more of that preview stuff. This is the actual thing here, in which we invite you to call as soon as you possibly can, so you're not one of those folks who calls after the show has ended, which happens pretty much every week. Here's the number. It's 781-837-4900. I gave that rather quickly, so I'll give it again in a moment. Our mystery bird is a small songbird with lightly streaked brown upper parts, a black and white triangular patch on the upper back, a dull white chest and belly, and pale brown flanks. It feeds on insects gleaned from vegetation, including cattails, and its tail, which is often held up vertically above its back, looks kind of like a cattail. It's found through much of North America, wintering in the southern states, breeding across the northern half of the U.S., in the western provinces of Canada. It's our mystery bird and beautiful prizes here, including that Brome Mega 600 feeder. It includes the Brome seed ventilation system to keep the seed cool and dry. Extra large tube that holds nearly 2.5 pounds of seed. And a 1-year subscription to the great birding magazine BWD, aka Birdwatchers Digest. And if we have time for the bonus question, we'll try to give away a feather-friendly bird window collision kit. Number to call is 781-837-4900. That's 781-837-4900. Meantime, we'll check in with Mike O'Connor. It's Let's Ask Mike live in just 1 minute.
Hog Island Audubon Camp has welcomed nature enthusiasts to its shores since 1936. It's a program of the Seabird Institute, and the island hosts 5-night sessions for adults, teens, and families taught by the world's leading naturalists, ornithologists, and artists. Hog Island campers deepen their relationships with the birds and the ecosystems around them during the island's immersive educational camps. New for the 2025 camp season is Let's Go Birding Together. Scheduled during peak fall migration, this session is a safe space for queer birders to connect with nature and each other while learning ways to foster a similar environment in their community's home. For full Hog Island schedule, program details, and to register, visit hogisland.audubon.org.
Says here that Mike is going to talk about another backyard predator, but one that preys not on birds, but on bird feeders. Can this be correct? We'll find out because Mike, I believe, is here on the line with us right now. Good morning, Mike.
Oh, good morning, Ray. Yeah. We're going to do that. I just want to give a quick shout out to Corey and Ada from New Jersey. I think they're Talking Birds ambassadors.
Yeah.
And they swang by our shop the other day on their way to Maine to see puffins and loons, and they were very nice, very friendly folks. And I think they saw the puffins. I could be wrong, but they sent me pictures of puffins. So either they took pictures of postcards or they had good luck. So it was nice seeing them. And I always like seeing your ambassadors. But I didn't know they were ambassadors at the time, so no muffin basket for them this time.
Oh, they didn't get the goodies that they might have gotten had they.
Yeah, but they did take a picture with me, and I didn't charge them, so that's good enough.
Oh, good for you. Yes, I saw the picture. It's a wonderful photo, and we're going to post it on our website. So
now we're talking.
Everybody can see that. So what about these predators preying on not birds, but
yeah.
bird
You know what?
feeders?
This is a topic I spent the first 30 years of my life talking about, and that's keeping squirrels off feeders. Mm-hmm. And then companies like Brome came out with really successful squirrel-proof feeders, and that topic kind of disappeared for a while. Now it's back because we have the plethora and the popularity of these smart feeders. Oh my God, there was my accent, wasn't it? These smart feeders.
It's smart, wicked smart.
and so these feeders, which are like $200 worth of cameras and technology and 10 cents worth of feeder. It's like a feeder that comes from the dollar store. They're cheap and they're flimsy, and the money goes into the technology, and they don't hold up well against squirrels. And a lot of people who receive these get them as gifts, and they don't know what to do, and they're all complaining that squirrels are ruining their expensive feeders. So we'll do a little bit quick topic on that, keeping squirrels off. So what you would do if you get one of these smart feeders is get yourself a pole, straight pole. Don't get a shepherd's hook. Those don't seem to work well at all.
A lot of grease on it, right? A lot of grease up that.
Yeah, I know. There's the other thing. That's the knee-jerk reaction. I sprayed some grease on it. And that works for about 2.5 days, and everybody laughs, oh, we're brilliant. And then the grease gets covered with dirt and pollen and grime, and then it gets stickier, and it's impossible to keep the squirrels off once you do that. So don't do that. And get a straight pole, and sometimes you can get these little, we call them augers, but these little devices that screw into the ground like a socket and hold the pole in place so they don't tip over. And then go get a squirrel baffle. The squirrel baffles, get the kind that looks like a stovepipe. They have these kind that look like a cone shape. They don't work as well, or I don't find they work as well. The stovepipe shape works much better. But more importantly, you need to put it in the open. Squirrels can jump 10 feet from anything, from a tree branch, from a picnic table, from your back porch, from your doghouse. It's got to be in the open, at least 10 feet, and the baffle and the feeder have to be about 5 or 6 feet high. If you get it too low, they'll hop over it. And then mount that out there, and that should take care of your problem. That should take care of all you're worried about, with the Wi-Fi. That's your issue, that you want the smart feeder to work. But people are bringing in pictures, and they show me the birds on the feeder, and some are nice birds and some are squirrels. So Here's what you do. If you want to buy your mother or grandmother or a friend one of these smart cameras, kick in the money and buy them a nice pole to put it on, because they have to come in and struggle how to keep the squirrels off. Some people kind of go with the hot pepper seed, which has been okay. We used to not be excited about that, but that's proven a success. So that's kind of an alternative also. But put it in the open, and you won't have any problems.
All right, Mike. We were baffled until you came along. Now only the squirrels are baffled. So thank you. See you next week.
All right. I got to go open the big store, Ray.
All right. Mike O'Connor at the big store, the famous Birdwatchers General Store on Cape Cod. That's in Massachusetts is where that is. And now where we are is the Mystery Bird Contest here. And I believe we have Susan in Charleston, South Carolina. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Nice to hear from you, Susan, from South Carolina. And we're on the Mystery Bird Contest, and this would be the part where you say what you think the bird is there.
And I think it is a marsh wren.
And I think so, too. We couldn't both be wrong, could we? The marsh wren is absolutely right. Or as they say in French, troglodyte des marais. I like that name for the marsh wren. But beautifully done. And also, we have time, Susan, for a little bonus question here, if you'd be interested in trying that.
Of course.
It has to do with our mystery bird this morning, as a matter of fact. Hey, before I do that, I want to give this little reminder about our mystery bird contest. If you missed it, this week, listen to our show live, and you can take part in our mystery bird contest. Just go to talkingbirds.com, click on the listen button, and you'll see how to do that. Sorry to interrupt you, Susan, by saying that, but we're going to go back to this bonus question here. It's regarding today's mystery bird, the marsh wren. A group of wrens is known collectively by several collective names. Which of the following is one of them? Is it A, a flash of wrens, B, a belligerence of wrens, or C, a herd of wrens? Which one of those you think is one of the collective names?
I'm going to have to guess because I don't know.
Okay.
I'm going to say C.
C, which is a herd of wrens. People will probably say that couldn't possibly be right, but guess what? It is right.
All right.
You are a good guesser as well as a good identifier of birds there, Susan.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So you have won those prizes that we mentioned earlier, the Brome Mega 600 feeder and the 1-year subscription to BWD magazine and that beautiful feather-friendly window protection kit. So if we can find a truck big enough to ship all those out to you, we'll do that. So stay on the line, Susan, and Paul will get your info.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan, in South Carolina. And she correctly identified a few minutes ago the marsh wren as our mystery bird. And you just heard the thing there about a group of wrens, sometimes called a herd of wrens. That would pretty much put us out of time for today. Just a quick mention about our Patreon thing. A great way to support our show if you go to patreon.com and put Talking Birds there in the search bar and help us out, keep the show going, and we'll send you some nice perks in the process. Next week, we'll talk with the Cornell Lab of Ornithology's Maya Thompson about another new way the lab is helping to make your birding better. That's what he meant to say. Thanks to our amazing Talking Birds team, Debbie Bleacher, Freya McGregor. Can we start the show over again? Somebody said they wanted to hear more bloopers, and we got them covered today. And today's guest engineer doing a fabulous job again this week, despite the host, Paul Pisa.
Thanks. It's always a pleasure working with you, Ray.
Our pleasure, Paul. See you next week.
The bird show. I like that.
Ray Brown's Talking Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
By Vortex Optics with the VIP warranty. Their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com. And by Hog Island Audubon Camp. For full camp schedule, program details, and to register, visit hogisland.audubon.org.